And welcome everyone back to Nerd TV for a Martin Sports Truck Series presented by the Full Throttle Sim Racing League. And this time we're coming at you live from the simulated Texas Motor Speedway. We're 20 of these guys currently in the server. We're going to be going 134 laps around this 1.5 mile surface. And we're down below the 100-degree temps on the track for 2 weeks in a row, sitting at 88 degrees on the surface. This time, 67 in the skies. That is completely unrealistic to normal Texas weather in the summertime, but we will take it. 38% humidity, cloudy, and 8-mile-an-hour winds, which could or could not play a factor if there's any bigger wind gust. Might cause some havoc for these guys here this evening. My name is Jeremy Stanley, aka Jay Swifty. Jason Rockefeller to my right-hand side. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Everything's bigger in Texas, and what a way to start off the round of 12 here for the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series tonight. This is going to be an interesting one, to say the least. I talked about it with Dustin right before we did pre-roll, obviously. And Jeremy, you didn't hear, but he was like, going to Texas tonight, and I was like, yeah, man, we're going to Texas tonight, And I was like, but hey, I think it's going to be a good race, especially with open setups. I commentated the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series back when they were at Texas for Split 2, just a handful of months ago. There's Walter. What's up, Wall? You're always coming in late to the party, man. But I mean, this track is very racy on a short run, and then towards the long run, man, it's really difficult. And I really think that whoever wins tonight is probably going to be a guy who saves tires. But if a caution comes out late in the going, obviously, you're going to have short run speed, and track position here means everything. Being pretty much a one-lane racetrack, you can make it two. But it all depends on how your setup is. So this race is going to be very, very interesting here tonight, to say the least.
Yeah, I feel like in the sim world, it's a little more entertaining than what it is in the actual Texas Raceway, which we're going to see this weekend from the real life guys. But it is the round of 12 here tonight as well. And I've kind of mentioned it before we went live, too, that this is the only normal track, the normal oval, right? Because we have Talladega next week, which that's literally anyone's game. And then you go to a Roval road course there, which an unorthodox style road course. And there might only be a few good guys there. So, like, if you're an oval guy, which you're going to need to be to, compete well toward the end of the season, this is it. You got to do really well in this one to set yourself up for points to go into those next 2 weeks with a little bit of a safety blanket. So, and to your right-hand side, our producer this evening, Mr. Dustin Loxton. How's it going over there on your end of this world?
I tell you what, going to be looking forward to a good race here at Texas. I feel this is a track that doesn't get much love, is what it has through different revamps. But I don't know. Anytime you bring the trucks to a track, they always seem like they produce. Definitely one of probably the most stout car classes that they have, well, truck classes rather, that they do have. But I think Jason nailed it on the head. I mean, it's passing and track position is going to be paramount. You're going to see pit strategy tonight. I expect to see pit strategy tonight to get trucks in position. Passing is going to be tough depending on where it's at. Like I said, what a way to start off the round of 12. We have an oval. We also have a super speedway and a road course. So it's going to be a very interesting next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And there's no PJ1. There's no extra grip layered on the upper half of the track too. So it is a very difficult mile and a half to pass here. I think it's the most difficult one in all of these cookie cutter style shapes. We got about a minute left in practice. We got 20 trucks currently in the server. One driver to mention, guys, which Jason pointed out, or Dustin, you pointed out to me, no Ryan Chapman tonight. He is in the round of 12. He's currently sitting P5, 3 points above the cut line, and he's not here. So that's going to instantly put him almost in a must-win situation when it comes to Talladega or the Roval. And we got one new driver as well coming in here, Mr. Scott Martin, part of Martin Sports, the owner of that business and the sponsor of this series.
Yeah, it's always good to see Scott. I remember back at Pocono, he did race that race. So hopefully he has a fun time here tonight. We were talking, Dustin and I, earlier, and I said, why would Scott come and race Texas out of all, freaking tracks? And it turns out he's been really fast this week, ever since Monday when the C Open stuff went live for Texas Motor Speedway, and he almost won. If it wasn't for a mishap on his end, and obviously some, strategy cautions, whatever it was, Dustin, that you said. But still,
Heck it.
he thinks he could be very fast tonight. We'll have to see that. And I see Tommy Schaefer said in the chat, and this is on our mistake here. We're actually going to Iowa and not the Roval for race number 3 of the
They
round of
changed
12.
it up on us.
I guess so, man. I guess we just
Take
weren't
it.
thinking clearly. But hey,
I'll take
we'll
Iowa.
take it.
I'll take
Yeah,
Iowa any
I'm
day.
not complaining. I'm not complaining, man. It's Iowa. That was a blast to call that race earlier this season. I'm sure that'll be a fun one to watch. But we have this race to deal with here tonight in Fort Worth.
Appreciate the correction. I just assumed, man, but yeah, no, you're right. It is Iowa. So good call there for sure. And Dustin, I wish you good luck tonight. I know Jason always keeps you busy, makes you work that overtime paycheck, but we'll see what you got in store for us this evening. It is our time to turn our attention to qualifying here. Winner of practice was the number 28, Cody McKinney, who's got a 2-point advantage as your points leader coming into the round of 12. And once he jumps on track, we'll probably see what he's got in store for us. But in the meantime, we got the 29 second place truck, Tommy Schaefer, the one who corrected us already. So he's not only racing tonight, he's also our stat guy, so to speak, here. Let's see what he has in store here for this mile and a half track.
Yeah, Tommy's really, really good recently. Obviously, he went on an absolute barn burner with finishes recently, and then had some mishaps recently. Not really, the finishes he's wanted here as of recent, but I mean, he's very, very fast. But the thing is that this guy comes in 6th seeded into the round of 12, so he doesn't have too much to really lean on here coming into the round of 12. He's only up by about 6 points, 5 or 6 points or so. I believe it's 5. Yeah, 5 points. So he's going to have to really just maintain himself, be very, very consistent like he's been here recently within the last few weeks. I mean, when you look at, his stats this season, the last few ones that he has run. I mean, you go back and, just so fast all season long, no doubt about it. I think this guy is probably going to be somebody to look forward to here in this round of 12, and he's been heating up recently, both him and Tyler Brown. I expect those two guys to be very strong here tonight.
Using lap 1 as the lap to just get the tires heated up, and it always amazes me here at Texas how early you leave the white line there, especially on this newly configured track. Going through 3 and 4 here, much more of a natural corner than 1 and 2, and he's rocking some new colors too. This race here, a little bit short on the exit of turn 4 at the start finish line. Going to put himself at a 29.676, which is 1.5 tenths slower than his practice time. And we got about 8 to 9 laps currently posted right now, and he's currently the fastest one on the board.
Yeah, no surprise, obviously. And here's the guy we're all looking forward to seeing here. Cody McKinney was fastest in practice, was not at Bristol due to, obviously, him already being locked into the round of 12. There was no reason for him to come out here unless he just wanted to kind of earn a little bit more points. But you see him right there, warming up the tires. He's going to ride the entire outside lane, somewhere where you do not want to be in racing conditions, but definitely useful in qualifying to get all the momentum, that speed built up, coming to the green flag. He'll take that green flag. Don't want to come all the way out to the wall. It'll kind of hurt your not exit, but your entry speed. Also, it's just going to cut off a lot of your momentum, so you kind of want to be in the middle. He's sliding up big time, though, coming out of 1 and 2, but you can just bet your bottom dollar he was probably almost wide open going through 1 and 2, and then right here in 3 and 4, you can go wide open. He's liking this middle lane. I think he threw away that first lap, Jeremy, so it's looking like this is going to be a lap 2 run for Cody McKinney.
Yeah, it's going to be a lap 2 run for sure. Getting these tire pressures built up. I would imagine lap 2 is going to be a little more comfortable anyways. 30.329, definitely way off the pace on that compared to his practice times. A little wiggle of the wheel there through the center and exit of corner number 2, so a little bit on edge for this 28 Toyota Tundra. Gets to the white line pretty early on the entrance of 3. A little seesawing back on the wheel once more here, so just trucks really on edge. Really low exit, which is preferred here at Texas now in turn 4. At the line, bumps him up to a 29.862, 4 tenths slower than what we saw in his practice time. Currently puts him P10 on the board. Not an impressive qualifying lap there for the 28.
I think what that shows there, Jeremy, is that Cody McKinney probably has what's going to be, to say, a long run truck. And remember, with Texas, you don't really see a lot of yellows, during the runs until the back half of runs. And Dustin talked about it, with strategy. We could very well see that here tonight. Texas tends to get very strung out and becomes a tire saving game. You want to be able to make sure that you can serve that right front, especially coming off turns 1 and 2. It's a lot more, it's a lot wider. Big sweeping corner compared to 3 and 4, where you can pretty much hold it wide open. Remember, 1 and 2, 20 degrees of banking compared to 3 and 4, which has got 4 more degrees of banking. So if you're coming off turn 2, you're going to want to make sure you don't slide all the way up to that wall. You want to get a nice middle lane exit, just because the more you slide up, the more you're going to kill that right front. The same goes for 3 and 4.
Yeah, 100% there. Good tips there. And it is race time. We're just waiting for most of these trucks to get on the grid, and then we'll go over the starting order here for the Texas 200, as we're going to give you a unique camera angle here. They're not going down the field like we have been the past month, but we're going to give you a good view here down pit road. Tommy Schaefer is going to be starting this thing P1. Richie Coy is going to be starting in second place. Third place, Sylvain Jolly, followed by fourth place, Brody Hannum. Fifth place, Kyle Milliken. Sixth place, Scott Martin. Seventh place, Michael Blackner. Eighth, Brandon Gagnon. Ninth, Alan Duranco. And the 10th place truck here is the number 28, Cody McKinney.
At the top 20, the rest of the field, you got 11th, Tyler Brown in the 00 machine. Robert Malicki and the Heartbreak Kid starts P12. 13th goes to JP Burns. And 14th is Tony Solari. 15th, Sherwood Williford. 16th is TJ Bartell. 17th, Justin Dilts. 18th, Lane Allen. 19th goes to Monday night's FTSR Cup winner at Bristol, Stephen Hollingsworth. Last but not least, in that beautiful number 6 Worth Machine inspired Brad Keselowski car, James Torrey.
Brad Keselowski's had so many good paint schemes over the years, and including his team right now. Some of my favorites for sure. Also, one of my favorites is the guy leading the field to the green flag. This number 29, Tommy Schaefer. What a beautiful truck he's got there, and starting on the pole with it. So new skin, new feeling here. Really fast truck. He's looking forward to get this thing into victory lane early to move on to the round of 8. But yeah, I think like you said earlier, the race is going to be pretty good overall. It probably will get strung out. It is a bottom feeder track. It is really hard to make any moves in the second and third groove. Probably not going to find many guys at all in the third groove unless they just rotate the corners so much better up there. But only time will tell here with these open setups. I can only tell you from the fixed setup, I did not want to leave that white line here at Texas.
Yeah, definitely not, obviously. I mean, the second you get off that bottom, Jeremy, you just kind of just start to slide up, and you just create a passing opportunity for the guys behind you, and you become in not only a vulnerable position for people trying to pass you, but you also become very vulnerable to that outside wall coming off turn 2, especially. That's where we see a lot of trouble happen here at Texas Motor Speedway. And then when the tires start to wear off turn 4, the trucks, starts to get really loose as the run progresses. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But if I had to give one big key to this race, is save, save, save. It's going to be strung out, long green flag runs, save that right front tire.
And here we go, DK Humpty Harp there on Facebook saying, y'all have a blast. We certainly will. Hopefully you guys enjoy it out there as well. Green flag is out. This Texas 200 is officially underway. Tommy leads 19 Richie Coy by a half a truck length at the start-finish line there. 2x2 here going to turn number 1. The 42 of Milliken gets right underneath the 23 as the outside already starts to push back a lane. Tommy Schaefer a truck length ahead of the 19 off turn 2.
Tommy Schaefer started to slide up just a little bit early on corner exit off 2, now down to turns 3 and 4. Sylvain Jolly, he's got the door open. He'll head down to the inside of Fury Motorsports. Richie Coy with his teammate Brody Hanna trying to go for 3 in a row tonight here at Texas. And lap 1 being complete, Schaefer still leads with Jolly to the inside of Richie Coy into 1 and 2, and he'll take that spot.
Richie opened up that door by 1 truck length space, and the 08 Sylvain Jolly said, okay, I'm going to take that real quick here. Rotated the center of 4 just a little nicer, and now he's going to fight for that spot coming through 3 and 4. I'd imagine he's going to be able to claim it as his. Center 3 clears him, gets a great launch here, and actually he's going to get a great run almost to the back here. The number 29 has to lift at the line, moves up top just a little bit here. Don't want to make that pass up there. I don't know if you're going to be faking him or not, but goes back single file for these first two guys. The 42-19, they're side by side for 3 off 2.
Just a little bit on corner exit. That gives Richie Coy the opportunity to do so with closing in. But to point on something you said, Jeremy, he did not want to obviously enter in on the high side, that being Sylvain Jolly, after he got that massive run off turn 4 just a lap ago. And then down to 1, he decided to back off, stay down to the inside. And the thing is, if you're going to enter in a little bit higher, your goal is to kind of just try to back up your entry a little bit. Once you get to the center, let the truck rotate, get down to the bottom so you can have drive off, because you don't know if the guy in front of you is going to slide up or not. So take advantage of every single time you have the opportunity to make some type of run and not do the same thing over and over again, because you're going to have to do something different here tonight in Texas if you want to make up track position.
100% here as we're kind of focusing on midfield now. There were a lot of 2x2, some solid racing. This field is actually split already. The top 6 or 7 are all in one group, and then 7th, 8th on the back, they're all in another group here, as we're already starting to see the string out effect of Texas underway here. The 19 now looking underneath the 29 of Tommy Schaefer through 3 and 4. Makes that pass, and now Fury Motorsports 1 and 2 at the line. Richie's going to lead the way on lap 6.
Kyle Milliken's coming into play. He'll take that 3rd place podium spot from Schaefer and Jolly as they barrel it down into 1 and 2. Milliken's going to be able to back up his entry, but the 23 and 19 kind of got that better arc than the 42. They'll get the runoff turns 1 and 2, start to drive away from the bumper of Milliken, and here comes Brody Hanna trying to make sure he can still stay 3 for 3 within these last 3 starts. Hanna now to the race lead, this time all 4.
Single file there for basically the entire field at this point. Still a 6-truck breakaway here in the first group of trucks on lap number 7. So there's going to be now 3 different leaders registered at for the first 7 laps of this race here. Brody got a nice little jump here, about a 2-truck length advantage over the 19, as they're now looking at the number 28, Cody McKinney. Scored 7th, up 3 spots from his starting position.
Jeremy, too, now that he's clear of Tyler Brown and the rest of that pack, he's going to have to try to stay with the draft with that last 6th place driver on that tail end of that first pack, that being Michael Blackner. He's going to have to stay in the draft. He's going to have a little bit of a toe down these straightaways, and the same goes for Michael Blackner, who's kind of starting to fade away from this very first pack. Cody McKinney's best bet is to just kind of keep doing what he's doing, save that right front tire, all the meanwhile trying to stay in that draft as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably how he got his fastest lap in practice, too. Draft is a factor here. With these trucks that punch a big hole in the air, you're going really fast right now. These guys are headed 185 plus entering turn number 1 here. Draft will play in effect. So you want to stay in that lane to kind of keep up with this pack right now. Michael Blackner is really just trying to tuck his nose right where that air pocket's at, kind of hang on to what he can before he's going to lose the draft, or else you're going to lose a little bit faster. But at the same token, though, you want the air on the nose to get the downforce, to get the truck to rotate a little bit more. That's seeing some action midway in the pack. The 20 or the 16 here, Malikian trying to look underneath the 2 of Duranco. Cannot get the pass made this time, but you see the 88 there, TJ Bartel looking underneath Tyler Brown from Schaefer Racing, as the pass looks like it's going to be complete on this one. TJ Bartel up 1 position.
TJ Bartel doing a great job there in that number 88 machine. He came into tonight 4th seeded in the round of 12, and he's got a few points. He got about 7 points over Michael Blackner right now for that final spot. Not final spot, but inside the cutoff. Michael Blackner is the first one out in 9th, minus 28 back to the leader of Cody McKinney, who sits pretty well coming into tonight at Texas, obviously. Same with Brody Hanna, Richie Coy. Compared to those 3 drivers, everybody else, Jeremy, inside from 4th all the way back to Lane Allen in 12th, they're all pretty much separated by about 10 points or so almost now. It's really tight from 4th place on back in these playoffs, and obviously we go to 2 tracks that we've seen be very chaotic next. You go to Talladega, and then we go to Iowa. Iowa, for us this year, the first race of the year at Iowa was very, very chaotic. We had some last lap drama. We had a lot of guys who stayed out, obviously. with a late race caution, and it really shook up the field and kind of put everybody in a spot where it's like, all right, we got to fight, get every position we can, try to get to the front. Maybe we can win on 4 fresh tires. But just because of the imbalance between people with older tires, 2 tires, and 4 tires, it just ended up being absolute chaos, which is what could be Iowa here in a couple weeks.
And I believe when we get back there here in a couple weeks, it's going to be like that plus some. If we're going to have some late race cautions with guys trying to make it into the round of 8, you better believe that there's going to be some pit strategy being played. The 4 guys to focus on for the points that are outside the cut line. That's the 22 of Blackner, the 00 Tyler Brown, 33 of Williford, and the 14 of Lane Allen. Those 4 guys need to have a pretty solid race here in the next 2 weeks. Talladega right in the middle of the 3 races, being that huge wild card. You never know, so you want to secure what you can here on the 2 tracks you can kind of control.
I know about it, obviously. These next 3 races, or 2 races that after tonight, they're really difficult in the sense you're either a guy who likes that multi-groove racing, who can kind of manage the tires, but, know that short track aspect, like we saw earlier this year, or you're a really good super speedway racer. We saw how good Robert Malikian was. I know that he's not in the playoffs, obviously, but he's a guy who could come out here and steal one of these ones away, from the playoff guys. We've seen pretty much everybody up at the front, just who's been at the front of the super speedway races. It's been very mixed. You don't really have a set driver who's really sitting there up at the front of the field. Obviously, we saw Kyle Milliken. He went to victory lane in the Cup Series, pulled a clutch win. Here he is sitting in 3rd here tonight, and he's not in the playoffs currently, so he could probably steal one away maybe. At Talladega, you just really have to be on the binders here these next 3 weeks because this is grind time.
Yeah, speaking of grinding right now, these guys are in the front 6 trucks are just nose to tail. I'm surprised the 22 Blackner has caught back up to the 08 of Sabang Jolly, who's kind of lost a truck length or 2 over the 29 of Tommy Schaefer. Bringing him back into the picture, these 6 trucks are just biding their time right now. They have plenty of time before we get the stage break. Right now, the 1923 seem to be locked up right now. They can't separate themselves by more than a truck length. 42 of Milliken is kind of searching. I've seen him go to the bottom to the middle of the 2nd groove. He's trying to figure out where his truck rotates the best, and Tommy Schaefer's just kind of following along suit. So I think they're doing exactly what you advertised earlier, Jason, which was save, 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 save. Right now, there's no reason to test it other than, you got the caution guaranteed a little bit on in this race. I see 29 Tommy Schaefer looking to make the first pass here at the front in about 6 laps or so.
Applause to Kyle Milliken letting that 29 go by. You do not want to waste your stuff for 1 to 2 laps, possibly battling that 29 truck. Just ride right behind him. He had the run. Let him go. And that was a great thing that Kyle Milliken did. That could be something that possibly will keep him in this top 5 just from that move he pulled. I've raced a few times here at Texas within the last year, especially with the trucks. In the Xfinity car, too. I mean, the Xfinity car, it is so hard to save that right front. And with these trucks, man, you feel like you're just coasting going through 1 and 2. But then when you start getting back to the throttle off 2, you think you have it, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're pounding the outside wall in a hurry. So you really want to make sure that you save that right front tire here for as much as you can. We talk about the long green flag runs. They're going to happen tonight. We've already had one. We're 19 laps into this race. Sure, it's not an extreme long run. We haven't gone through a full tire cycle yet where green flag pit stops have become a factor, but you can already see the tire fall off starting to come about. The best lap Brody Hanna turned was 30.049 many laps ago. They're already a second worth of tire fall off, even a second and a half. So you could just see just almost 20 laps in now to this race, tire fall off is definitely starting to become a thing.
And look at this 28 Cody McKinney. I'm looking at his lap times. He's the only person still in the 30-second bracket. Even your race leader, the past 3 laps, has ran a 31-1, 31-0, that kind of lap time. Cody McKinney's not. This is right now, that was the 2nd time he hit the 31 bracket there. But he took the early route, and like you said in qualifying, he's going to have that long run setup, and he's showing it. Made his way back into the top 5 now as he's looking at 42 of Milliken for 4th place. But consistently running the fastest lap time out of these top 5 or 6 trucks at this time. And stage break is at lap 40, so we're just past halfway of stage 1. And he's got fresh tires. He's going to pass, I think, most of these trucks and get himself into P1 most likely before we get to stage break. Granted, he keeps care of those tires for the back half of the stage.
I think it's safe to say, Jeremy, just 22 laps in, as you look at Tommy Schaefer going for the race lead again on Brody Hanna down into 3 and 4, then I think it's safe to say that Cody McKinney definitely has that long run truck. If this race does come down to a short run, finish, I think that the two drivers you really look at probably who might be able to do something from what we're seeing, depending on the adjustments they make throughout the race with these open setups, is Sylvain Jolly and maybe Michael Blackner or TJ Bartel or Stephen Hollingsworth. Those guys could probably do something if they do continue to pick up positions. But these Freer Motorsport guys at the front right now, Brody Hanna and Richie Coy, they have some good short run speed, but so far in this long run right now, you're starting to see the attack from Tommy Schaefer in that 28 machine. I think that Tommy probably has a longer run setup. I just don't think it's as good right now as that 28 machine.
It's hard to tell. They got the same exact sponsor above the rear tire there, so they might be in a very equal circumstance right now, but the 29 is trying his best to get around Brody Hanna here. I think he's going to be able to get it through 3 and 4, depending on how Brody's tires are holding up for the second groove. His teammate Richie Coy is going to follow him to give him all the chance possible to maintain at the line. The 29 does get back to the race lead, not by a big margin, only by 9/1000ths of a second. Over the race lead is pretty heated up right now. Tommy almost gets Brody Hanna cleared here off of turn 2. Cannot get it done. Brody somehow is holding strong here on the upper half of this track.
Yeah, I think though, Jeremy, in a couple laps, it's probably going to fade away. Maybe even right here, you see the 28 of Cody McKinney gives that push to Schaefer. And the only thing that's really saving this 23 and 19 right now, I will say, is that extra 4 degrees of banking in 3 and 4. Remember, it's more banked, like I had just stated. And you can run that outside kind of, but then once you head into 1 and 2, you are killing yourself running that outside up and out of that groove. You're just shredding that right front. I would not be surprised here in a couple laps if that 23 and 19 start to fall back just from battling the 29 and 28 machine continuously for the last 2 to 3 laps on that outside.
Richie Coy recognizes that. The door is open. He drops down behind the 28 here as we come to the start-finish line to complete lap 26. Some shout out our series sponsor, Martin Sports, small company with a big-time product, home of the sim gloves of all of sim racing, the best ones rather. They make the most breathable and durable gloves the sim world has ever seen. They also specialize in fully customized sublimation printing on everything from team uniforms to shirts and hoodies, allowing for zero restriction on colors, which allows for the absolute fastest turnaround in the business. Check out their full apparel and merchandise line at martinsports906.com. And you see that green code above the gloves on the bottom image. That is super nerd, and it's going to save you 25% off anything you purchase from martinsports906.com.
And we're riding on board right now with Scott Martin. Might as well give him a little bit of a shine. You see him clip the apron right there, start to slide up the track. We talked about, obviously, right during the race, right beforehand, that Scott said that he had a good setup. Me and Dustin talked before, and I was like, why would Scott, run Texas out of all places? Well, Scott, I almost said Todd, Scott has been running pretty good in C Open in his SOF recently and C Open this week. So he wanted to just kind of run out here and have a good time. But so far, down 10 positions from where he started. I don't know if maybe he just burnt up the tires a little too early or something like that. But that number 67 machine is definitely struggling right now. He's probably more than joyful to probably get to the stage end caution here come lap 40.
He's realizing now how good these FTSR drivers really are. Coming in here with a really good setup. He was feeling really confident in the open races and comes in here and qualified well, but then he realized that these guys are just so much better on the long run, at least here at Texas. As we're seeing this 29-28 combo, they are breaking away. They got about a 5 truck length advantage, if not more, over the 23 and the 19 here as we're getting to 10 laps to go before stage in. So 2 truck breakaway for the lead, 2 more breakaway. Kyle Milliken, 42, just barely hanging on to the draft of these Fury Motorsports drivers. Sylvain Jolly's kind of slipped back a little bit. And then Michael Blackner and TJ Bartel, who's made his way kind of up through the field here, running some of the most competitive lap times in the back half of this first stage, as he's now trying to look to the inside there of Michael Blackner.
Yeah, that TJ Bartel probably had a short run speed car, but he's actually doing solid right now. And even Stephen Hollingsworth, but the long run speed seems to be their strong suit currently right now. You see Bartel trying to look to the inside of Michael Blackner, who has definitely not really shown whether he's good on the short run or the long run so far. I mean, he started seventh, he's still seventh. Kyle Milliken, we talked about him. He almost got to the race lead. He's still in fifth right now. But I mean, those two drivers, despite not having any positions gained as of right now, they're still doing very, very well. I really do think, though, that Tommy Schaefer and Cody McKinney are probably easily the class in the field on the long run right now, just because, they kind of fell back a little bit. And we talked about Cody McKinney. He was good in practice. That was probably a draft lap and running really hard, and then qualified, and he qualified outside the top 10, I think, and here he is right now, currently P2. He had that long setup, and it's showing right now. And the same goes for Tommy Schaefer, who was really good in qualifying on the short run, but he's really good on the long run too. So Tommy Schaefer might be getting the better end of the Cody McKinney battle right now.
Yeah, when I saw him fall back to the 19 and 23 Schaefer early on, I was like, okay, it looks like his truck's not going to be there. But as the run continues to progress further and further, green flag, he's just showing how fast that truck is. He is maintaining right now with the 28, which was the fastest in practice. And right now, it's one of the fastest trucks in this race at this moment here, as we're coming to 6 laps to go before a stage break. 29-28 putting on a great show for you guys here for this race lead. Third and fourth place, Brody Hanna, Richie Coy. They're still running nose to tail. I think they're just going to follow suit here before they get to the yellow flag. And I see Matt Keats on the chats. Welcome back, saying, hey, classic, man. I'm glad you're joining the broadcast here this evening. But, yeah, this field is pretty well tamed out. If we jump up to the iRacing iFlag track map, we'll see exactly what 35 laps of Texas looks like under green flag. And it looks like almost half of the track is covered with trucks at this time.
Yeah, and you know something too, Jeremy? Obviously, we're going to have this yellow here. These guys are going to have the opportunity to pit and make some adjustments to their trucks probably for the long run, because I think, no doubt about it, every driver except maybe a couple of these guys here tonight are probably expecting this race to be a long run all the way to the finish with strategy. So they're probably going to set their trucks up for the long run, whether it be an air pressure adjustment, maybe a spring, tape, whatever it may be. They're going to make the proper adjustments necessary to be able to have that long run truck. Maybe it's Sylvain Jolly, who has that short run speed, but he's going to need that long run speed. Maybe it's Michael Blackner. The same thing goes for him. But we'll have to see here. They're going to have that caution at lap 40, and then everything's going to stack up. I think that iRacing, or not iRacing, but that iRacing iFlag track map is going to become a lot more strung out once we do get into the second half of this race. Here's an issue with Tony Solari, knocked out of the playoffs last week, went right through the grass, some heavy damage from the right side of that truck. That is definitely not something you want to have here at Texas, Jeremy. Probably is right side damage. And out of all tracks, I want to say, besides Bristol and maybe Martinsville, if you have right front damage to your truck here at Texas, man, you are going to go absolutely nowhere.
No, that's going to be huge. That truck's going to underperform probably the rest of this race. That is so unfortunate to see. And it was all by his own doing. And it's a very mental game here at Texas when you're by yourself, or, where the pace of the race is just not, it's not competitive right now. It's just kind of hanging on. And mistakes happen. And you just have to keep yourself in check sometimes. Oh, we see TJ Bartel in the 88 making a little mistake just on the outside there of the 08 Sylvain Jolly. As we got one to go here on the stage end. But yeah, couple trucks now utilizing 2 and 4 a little bit too wide and hitting the wall here. That was more contact heavy.
Yeah, he just pounded the wall right there off turn number 2. That was all a product there, Jeremy. I think of him being in the draft a little bit of Michael Blackner. Got back to the throttle. He was stuck in the draft. And it's kind of just like I hate to say this, but it's kind of like a tractor beam in a sense, if you want to put it that way. It's like the draft acts as a tractor beam, but the wall acts as a tractor beam too. And it just kind of drags the truck all the way out to the wall. We've seen that in real life, and we've seen it here on the sim, and definitely is going to be a factor here for probably most of the night as well.
Brody comes on the radio apologizing. Stage break happens 1 lap early, but that's okay. I did not see any other positions maybe changing other than the 38 and the 88 which are on the Nerd Motorsports teams. Outside of that, everyone's locked into their positions. But it is caution. We're going to jump it over to our first picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back shortly before the drop of the green flag for Stage 2. And welcome back to full screen here as these guys have completed their pit stops. And we got about a lap and a half or so before we go back to green flag. We're going to kick it up to the Nerd TV Top 10 recap here for Stage 1. Before we go to Stage 2, Brody Hanna up 3 positions in that Fury Motorsports Ford F-150. And Tommy Shea from the 29 right behind him, only down 1. He started this race P1, now in P2. Looking to continue this great run here to finish him in the podium, if not top 5 at the very most there. But Richie Coy, 3rd place, the other Fury Motorsports driver, running competitive lap times other than the teammate right behind him, Michael Blackner. So Fury Motorsports really 1-3-4 right now, other than the 11 from that wall contact about 10 laps prior. Let's see if he can got that truck repaired and ready to go. Sylvain Jolly P5 right now. He's down 2 spots from his starting position. Running pretty good on the mid-run. Let's see if he can make some changes to get that long run just a little bit better, more buttoned up for that 08 machine. Tyler Brown, the 00, he is up 5 positions, running pretty stout right now. If he can maintain the speed early on with these top 5, who knows what we can see from this 00 truck. Kyle Milliken, 6th place in the 42. He was just kind of hanging mid-pack, kind of hanging on to the draft, and don't know if he has what it takes, but maybe some pit road changes to that truck will make him a little bit faster. 25, Stephen Hollingsworth, one of the highest movers up in this field, up 11 positions. That truck has been fast and fast and fast, and right now I think Hollingsworth has a great chance here to get himself into the top 5 at least. We'll have to see what he can do. 9th place, Brandon Gagnon, down 1 spot, just kind of been maintaining right inside of that top 10 area. And then right behind him, the 10th place truck, Robert Maliki in the 16, only up 2 positions. Again, one of those trucks that just kind of just maintaining pace. And we'll have to see what they have in store for this very long stage 2. They're going to be taking the green flag on lap 45. Completion of the race is at lap 134. So basically 90 laps to get this thing done.
And Cody McKinney was too fast on pit road. Will be starting at the rear of the field. He's sitting back there in 18th. Jeremy, he's going to have a lot of ground to make up on a track where track position means everything.
We saw it. It is tough to maintain a lot of single file in this, and if you can hold the bottom, it's going to be very, very difficult for the guy behind you to make a pass. So if you're going to make your passes, get it done early while we're still side by side. But here we go. Green flag is out. Stage 2 is underway. 23 Brody Hanna gets maybe a quarter truck length space on the 29. 29 lagged the start just a touch, though. He's going to get a great run. Now they're directly nose to nose going to turn number 1. The 22 Michael Blackner drops back. 19's clear by himself momentarily. He's going to get to the inside here of Tommy Schaefer on turn 2.
And Tommy Schaefer's still holding the outside strong against Richie Coy. Lost that lead to Brody Hanna, but as they go into 3 and 4, Coy's starting to wrap the bottom, gets a little bit loose on entry, but it looks like he's going to clear the 29 off the corner. He will. Everybody's starting to get single file with Brody Hanna leading, almost some near contact there between Tyler Brown and Kyle Milliken as they go into 1 and 2.
Single filed out, so you see the 42 and the 08 right now on the track. This is for, I think, 6th and 7th position. Tyler Brown looking to make the pass there as the door is open. Once the door is open, it is tough to get back to the bottom of this track early on when we're all still nicely buttoned up once or together. Almost made some contact, the 08 and the 00 did there in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Oh, Tyler Brown cuts the nose off of Stephen Hollingsworth in the 25 to secure that position. Cut a little close, but that's what you got to do to secure your position here at Texas.
To Jeremy, I mean, no doubt about it here. With track position being so key, you have to fight for it if somebody is trying to go for a run on you. But if you know that they're going to have the upper advantage on you heading into the corner, just back out of it like we saw Kyle Milliken do many laps ago. And here he is. He's still inside the top 5, looking to try to go for 4th underneath the Red Bull machine of Michael Blackner. He's going to do just that into 1 and 2. Blackner, though, is going to put up a little bit of a fight. 42 kind of slides up. 22 is going to go a little bit wide. No harm, no foul. He'll still have the position off turn number 2, and now that opens up the door for Tyler Brown to try to move back to the outside on Milliken in the 3.
I think Blackner thought he could get in front of the 42 there, realized he could not and had to move up the track, and I'm surprised that didn't hurt the momentum more than what it did. He's able to regain that position as he tucks in now behind the 29 of Tommy Schaefer. 2 truck separation, the 23 and the 19 early on, just like they did in the stage 1. They got themselves a nice little 10 truck separation there. And then the next 5 trucks nose to tail single file here, led by the 29 Tommy Schaefer.
Here's a good thing to note too, Jeremy. We're not in Kansas anymore. Remember back in Kansas, we saw how many guys would make up ground on restarts because of the multi-groove racing and the draft. Well, guess what? Cody McKinney restarted in 18th after the caution flag due to speeding on pit road. He has only made up 4 spots since the restart a little bit afterwards, and here he is sitting in 14th, not making up a ton of ground. That long run speed, though, definitely going to help that 28 machine, but it's not looking good for Cody McKinney right now. He might have to adjust his strategy here later on in this race.
We're going to have at least 1 green flag pit stop if this thing strings out 2 green flag the entire event here. Oh, the number 2, Duranco, cuts it really wide off turn 4. Has to lift to avoid the wall. He's going to lose several spots here because he was about to destroy that outside wall at turn number 4. Thankfully, he did not. Tucks himself in behind the number 28, Cody McKinney, up 1 spot there. Yeah, but Cody got to wait for that long run. He's in a weird predicament right now. But we saw how fast he was 30 laps into the run, and now he can utilize potentially 2 entire green flag runs on fuel. So we'll have to see if he can maintain that pace like he did at the end of stage 1. That 28 might be, a contender still for the top 5.
2 things to point out, both bad and good ends on this. Good end of Cody McKinney's deal right now is that he came into tonight's race number 1 seed coming in, obviously being many, many points up in the 20-plus point bracket above the cutoff line inside from 8th to his position in 1st. The negative side is that now He's mired back in
Oh.
traffic. Oh,
There's a wreck on the front. Scott Martin, the 67, and wreck with the 33 of Sherwood Wilford. Sorry to cut you off there, but that's going to bring out our second caution of the night, presented by Roasted Gems Coffee. And we'll take a look at the Nerd TV replay to see exactly what happened here. This happened right in front of the 14 lane Allen. You see the 67 on your screen. Going to wall slap the right side of that truck as he spins around a complete 360. So we're going to get a couple more angles of this wreck.
Yeah, we'll have to see it. And I was just going to point out, now that Cody McKinney was mired back in traffic, he's going to have to worry about things like this. Look at that. Just like I said, right in front of him. And wow, what a job by Brandon Gagnon to get around that. Or actually, I think that was TJ Bartel. It was TJ Bartel. Those trucks look so similar due to your nerd rap job there, Jeremy. But man, they look good for sure, to say the least. TJ Bartel, good job getting around it. But this is the thing that Cody McKinney has to worry about, being mired back in this traffic. You see Sherwood Williford outside lane. Scott's trying to come up. I think he kind of but underestimated the 33 there. I honestly can't tell if the 33, there was probably some connection issue right there. That's what sent the 33 to kind of merge into the 67. But I think that was kind of just a racing deal, honestly. I don't really know who to blame. Scott kind of came up a little bit, but the 33 was coming down right here. We're going to take another good look. Off turn 4, Sherwood runs the outside. Scott's coming up, and you can use that dotted line. Yeah, he's going down, actually. So Sherwood came down and unfortunately just kept coming down. A little bit of a connection issue between those two, and it just sent both of them into the wall. So with that angle, it tells the story a whole lot more clearer than what we saw just before. So just a mistake on Sherwood Williford's part.
Yeah, I mean, it was more geared toward the 33. I'm sure he was assuming that Scott was going to run down to the grass line there on the first kink of the dog leg. And Scott gave about a truck length or so of space between himself and the grass. And
Wow.
Sherwood just kind of misjudged that part of the dog leg. So came down a little too much, made some contact. And then the second contact was just sent the 67 around for that complete 360 spin, as we get another couple good looks at that wreck here on the Nerd TV replay side of things. But since we have the time, we're going to go back to another picture-in-picture commercial break. Be back shortly before the drop of the green flag for the third time this evening. And back to full screen here as we have just under 1 lap left before we're going to go back to green flag. And this race will resume on lap 58. Fury Motorsports drivers Brody and Richie are going to be starting this thing P1 and P2. And right behind them, they have another one of their teammates, the 22 of Michael Blackner and the 29 of Tommy Schaefer, going to be starting in third place. Second truck on the inside row here. And then I'm looking at this 25 truck, Jason. Stephen Hollingsworth, starting in fifth. And remember, he started 19th, so he's moved up 14 spots. And this truck, I'm surprised it's where it's at now. And don't be surprised if he picks up quite a few more spots here on this next set of green flag laps.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, with the balance between some of these guys who have, 13 lap fresher tires and whatnot. We'll see how it works. Different strategy. That's what Texas is all about.
We're going to find out. Green flag is out. This race is back underway. A little check up there on the inside lane. The 19 of Richie Coy is going to get a little bit of advantage over Brody. But as you know, we go through turns 1 and 2. It's going to allow the inside to just regain that momentum back. Brody Hanna is currently clear on the top side. If he moves up, there he goes. He's got to defend that position from the 29 of Tommy Schaefer, who's been one of the fastest trucks this evening. There he goes. Brody cuts down that corner right before the 29 can make the entrance there. He's going to secure that spot. Now they're 2x2 for second row and third row, and even the third row here as they're coming to. Oh, as we got the contact, the 0 way to Sylvain Jolly hits it just a little bit. I saw some smoke off the side of that truck. He's going to lose a few spots because so.
I think there's a few guys who actually hit the wall right there too, Jeremy. Not to mention, I think the 19 of Richie Coy actually just hit the wall off turn 4. Maybe we could see if we can get a replay on it. I don't know, but that 19 was awfully close. Saw him get off turn 4, and the 19 looked like he got loose. Maybe he hit the wall, maybe he didn't. Didn't see any scuff or puffs of smoke out of the right side off 4 last time around. But if so, it was awfully close for the 19 machine. But look at these guys, the Hornet's Nest back here in the middle of the pack, trying to get up through this field. And these are all guys back here who are still on that same set of tires. The first one on the freshest tires is Tyler Brown right there on the inside, trying to make a move, pushing Cody McKinney. They're going to go almost 3 wide down into turns 3 and 4, and that's going to make TJ Bartell go up the racetrack. Almost had an incident, and off turn 4, they're still having a Hornet's Nest back here.
Cody McKinney there for half a lap was completely boxed in, and he's going to be boxed in once more going through turns 1 and 2 again. Cannot advance it past the 88 because the 0-8 is just kind of maintaining that ground right to his outside door. Gets a little bit more room this time. Looks underneath the 88 there of TJ Bartell. Cannot get the runoff corner exit there. And TJ actually going to run the middle of the track there all by himself. I wonder if he found a little extra grip. And that number 88 Toyota Tundra going through 3 and 4 there. Sylvain has to check up just a little bit to not hit the wall. It's going to allow the double 0 Tyler Brown to go around Sylvain Jolly going to 1.
Watch Tyler Brown. We're going to really see what this truck can do here on those fresh set of Goodyear Eagles. About 13 lap fresher tires than the rest of the field, and he's the only one really making do of it. Kyle Milliken still back in 11th, couple spots back, but he's not really moving up. Tyler Brown, the only one who's really doing so, with 2 drivers being McKinney and Bartell and Gagnon almost side by side in front of him. This could open up the door for the double 0 pickup, not 1, not 2, but possibly 3 positions, and that would be everything that he needs coming into tonight. Just a few points below the cutoff line, being 6 points out. So Tyler Brown trying to gain all the points he can here tonight in Texas.
He's going to really need them here. And right now he's doing a pretty decent job, but I know that truck can pick up a few more spots. We've seen him do it late in some of these races for sure, jumping back up to the front of the field where it's getting pretty tight itself. Top 5 directly nose to tail here. The 25 of Hollingsworth back up to P3, or at least P3 for the first time this evening. Going to run the middle lane here. He loves to run the top half of the track if he can do so. Texas is not the place, but look at that. He ran up to the middle groove. I did not expect anyone to do so. Look at that huge boost of momentum he's going to get off corner exit and just completely destroys the 29 there. Passed him like he was sitting still, and now he's to the back bumper of your race leader.
And what a night it could be for Stephen Hollingsworth, trying to sweep the FTSR race week. Remember, dominated Bristol, and boy, Jeremy, was Bristol. I'm still thinking about and daydreaming about and dreaming about Bristol from Monday night, man, because that was such a fun race to watch. What a dominant performance by Stephen Hollingsworth in that 25. He's trying to go 2 for 2 here this week on the FTSR schedule. I mean, what a night it could be for him. And not to mention the fact, too, he came in 2 points above the cutoff line from Michael Blackner. And Michael's been having a great night in that number 22. We're used to him as being that road course guy, but here he is on the ovals. Remember back a few weeks ago, somebody called him the Tyler Reddick of the FTSR. He's always there, just something always happens, can't make it work. But on the road courses, he just dominates. Remember, dominated Watkins Glen for the Cup Series, got into the playoffs that way, and now, he almost cuts off Gagnon entering 3, doing a great job. But Stephen Hollingsworth trying to separate the gap between him and Blackner as much as possible. So he's trying to go for the race lead on Blackner's teammate, Brody Hanna, going into 1.
I'm just really impressed with how the 25 was able to get through the field so quickly. And now he is battling for the race lead. Almost 3 wide on turn 2. Tyler Brown's going to go a little 2-for-1 action here. Going to pass Michael Blackner in the center of 1. And then he gets corner exit there off Brandon Gagnon in the 38. So Tyler Brown up 2 spots there, moves him to P7.
And Tyler Brown doing a great job with those newer tires, trying to make up ground. This is the round that's probably going to be the most competitive, Jeremy, if you really think about it. We go from here at Texas, the 1.5 mile, the one-laner, the strategy track, to Talladega, the crapshoot, where anybody on any given lap can wreck or win the race. And then obviously we go to Iowa, which was an absolute barn burner for us earlier this year, and that is going to be a fun one. So if you really want to make up points, you're going to have to be on your A game, because pretty much everybody in the round of 12 is super strong. They're the last remaining 12 drivers in the playoffs for a reason. You're going to have to be on your A game.
And look what happens here, all by themselves. Contact. 67 gets the worst end of that one. Once more, rear ends the outside wall there of turn number 1. And, don't want to speculate too much, but that's probably in direct relation to what happened there on that third caution here this evening. But that's going to at least take out the back bumper, and if not, any type of chance there for the 6-7 to compete the rest of the way. We're going to resume back to the front of the field. The 25 on Hollingsworth, new leader here, going through turns 1 and 2 this time. He's got a truck length advantage now, 2 to 3 truck lengths. The 23, Brody Hanna, really has to check up that truck to make the corner exit happen. And that's going to allow Hollingsworth to pull away even more. The 25 is really impressing me here, Jason.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and I don't mean to go off topic here, where obviously the racing we have going on at the front being so great, but I want to know if maybe our producer Dustin can get another look at that wreck, because not only, if you think about it, Jeremy, if that was initiated by the 33 and if it was on purpose or whatnot, I mean, you got to remember, he came into tonight 11th seated. He is below the cutoff line. If that was on purpose on the 33's part, then they're going to look at that and they might actually suspend him. But you see right here, Scott's holding his line. And the 33, man, just absolutely door checks him. I don't know what happened. And then Scott is just loose. There's nothing he can do trying to save that truck. And then just makes contact with the 33. I'm sure that the admins and the FTSR admins and league owners, they're going to look at that incident after this race. And if that's the case on Sherwood Williford's part, that's going to be huge, because that's going to make him go into a must-win situation at Iowa if they do choose to put him on a probation suspension next week for Talladega. That is a huge storyline to follow in going into next week.
You have to stay in tune with FTSR.net to figure that out here. And what you got over there, Jason?
Through the grass. We got to take a look at that real quick. Brody Hanna and Richie Coy just followed each other 1 and 2 going into the grass that time. We're going to take a VCR rewind. Watch this, Jeremy, going through off turn 4. Brody Hanna's got the run. He'll go to the bottom. McKinney will block. And here comes Hanna and Coy going right through the grass, Dale Earnhardt style at Riverside, and also Charlotte Motor Speedway back in the All-Star race. The Winston Million, Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt. It was never a pass in the grass. It was just a save, but we still deem it as the pass in the grass because it's the Intimidator. We have to make it stand right on his part. But, man, what a job by the 23 and the 19. Might hurt them a little bit. Cody McKinney, though, trying to fight his butt off here tonight after being mired back in traffic due to that speeding penalty on pit road. He wants to keep that points lead, and he wants to lock himself into the round 8 here tonight.
That's what I call the domino effect there, is where you see one guy make the cut down, and if you got people in front of you, you sometimes can't see exactly where the kink is there on the front straightaway. So the 23, his teammate dips down. 19 is like, okay, it's my turn to dip down, and did it worse. But the good part about that is iRacing on this latest big update has added grip to the grass and sand and all that stuff. So when they make that cut down into the grass, they actually have more grip than what they've ever had before on the iRacing simulation platform, and that allowed them to just kind of cut through. And there's no yielding, right? There's no yield penalty at an oval track, so they're able to just to get away with it. To get a 1x, which it's a league race, doesn't really affect them at all. But as we were talking about that too, the 00, Tyler Brown, wasn't he just like 7th place? Where did he come from?
Fresh tires, baby. That's all I gotta say, man. This 00, he came to play tonight. Obviously, him and Tommy Schaefer been being very fast recently, late in the going here on the back half of the season. Tyler's been very strong. We know how strong Tommy Schaefer has been, obviously. But what a night it could be if Tyler Brown was able to take this one away. But, you know, you look at the varying strategies here. He's the only guy inside the top 10 besides Kyle Milliken and Robert Malikian, who are 9th and 10th, who have the freshest tires. So Tyler Brown made that strategy call work. And remember, these guys only have 3 sets of tires. So I think his plan is probably, okay, I'm going to come into the pits here. I'm going to take that set of tires. He did that. Now he's out here. He's leading. It has played a factor. But if we do get a late race yellow after this round of green flag pit stops coming up, probably, I'd say around lap 90 maybe or so, they can go all the way the distance, you know, on a set of fuel and tires, or a set of fuel and tires, what am I saying? On a set of tires and a tank of fuel. That's what Tyler Brown's, you know, that's what Tyler Brown's, you know, strategy is, to say the least. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how that strategy plays a factor. But, you know, I mean, if you're Cody McKinney, you're going to have that extra set of tires in the pits if we do get a late race yellow.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly surprised at how well this is working for Tyler Brown. The fresh tires clearly are just being dominant right now. Cody McKinney's moved up with him. He's now in P2 and gaining on Tyler Brown at this time. Tyler's doing a just phenomenal job playing his cards right at the moment. If we go green the whole way, this is going to put him well above that cut line, give him a little security going into Talladega, which is exactly what these guys need to do, that are below or right at that line. So if he continues this and there's no yellow flags from this point forward, you know, he can have a little more relaxation going to the Talladega. Of course, you don't want to do bad and put yourself back below that line, but great job nonetheless. You're seeing Cody McKean, that 28, just gaining about 3 truck lengths a lap, if not more, on Tyler. So here momentarily, we're going to see this 00 be under attack by the 28 here, as these guys right now have a 1.5 separation over third on back.
You know, they're doing a great job right there up at the front of the field, to say the least. And, you know, look at Stephen Hollingsworth still right there inside the top 3, doing a great job. Tommy Schaefer, Brandon Gagnon, who we haven't really talked about all night, sitting there in the top 5 for Nerd Motorsports. They've been doing really good here tonight, both him and his teammate TJ Bartel. Really, this whole entire top 5 is really, really interesting to see. Cody McKinney, the guy who looked like was going to be the one to beat, you know, with him. Tommy Schaefer was pretty good on the long runs. Looked like he had both short and long run speed compared to Cody McKinney. Stephen Hollingsworth, good job by him tonight. Tyler Brown, strategy's paying off. But hey, man, he's got Tommy Schaefer as his teammate. We know how good those guys have been doing. And Tommy's talked to us, hey, we're just, you know, me and Tyler are putting in the laps. We're doing what we need to do. And it's been making Tyler a better driver, you know, here in the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series, and it's showing right now. Yeah, he's on that newer set of tires, but we know how good Cody McKinney is. McKinney's probably going to get the race lead, but remember, we still have one more time to come down pit road and take a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles, but Tyler Brown can go a little bit longer, so he's hoping to see this race go green all the way to the end. Cody McKinney can use an extra set of tires, though, if needed, if a late race yellow happens.
I feel like Tyler Brown just played the tire save movement right there. He got to turn 3. He knew the 28 was dipping below him, so he almost looked like he stabbed the brake Didn't overdrive the corner entrance, moves back down to the track, and now he's going to follow suit behind Cody McKinney. So great job to be on the wear side of your tires. And now he's going to ride the bottom once more, just following in the tracks here of Cody McKinney, who's just continuing to pull forward now. 4 to 5 truck length separation between first and second place at the line. Third place, 1.4 seconds back. Fifth place is over 2 seconds back there, 2.339. That's the number 38 of Brandon Gagnon, which he didn't really have a good long run truck there in stage 1. Now look at him putting himself in the top 5. Did not expect to see this 38 here, but doing impressive stuff here when we got 30 or 50 laps to go.
Yeah, and you know something too, Jeremy, to touch base on everything going on, and I know probably the viewers watching are like, oh, it's single file, this and that, but this is the great thing about these mile-and-a-half racetracks, especially Texas with the condition that we all know it is now since the 2017 reconfiguration. But I mean, these races have come down to strategy here at Texas. We've seen it not only on this configuration, but back in the day. You think about the last ever race here on the old configuration back in 2016. Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski strategy. Johnson got around Keselowski with I think 6 laps to go and ended up going through for the win. And this is what could happen. We've seen it in the IndyCar races here recently, between Joseph Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin. It's interesting to see. I think the strategy is definitely going to play a factor. I think somebody's definitely going to be the oddball probably when these pit stops do happen.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure when those pit stops happen. I would imagine we had a 40-lap stage, right? And then we had 90 laps to complete stage 2. They had that one pit stop. So I would imagine our pits, if they're going to cut this green flag run in half between now and the end, we're probably going to see that pit stop somewhere in the next 5 to 10 laps. We're going to see most of those trucks would dip down at that point. I'm just assuming, though, of course. Dustin, my producer, knows exactly how my playbook always works. I've got the iRacing iFlag track map up. You see a big group of trucks there on the backstretch now heading to turn 3, and a couple of stragglers out now off of turn 2, exit on the backstretch now. So it's starting to get pretty spaced out once more. Ooh, the 29 Tommy Schaefer loose off 4, almost hits the wall that time around. Close call there, but they keep it going straight.
Yeah, keep it going straight indeed. And obviously that iRacing iFlag track map is going to get more strung out here once they do have this set of green flag stops. And I'm really interested to see. I really do hope this race goes green for the time being, obviously, just because I want to see where everybody, ends up. We talked about earlier in the race at lap 20 that there was a second of fall off. Now, just imagine now, these guys, and here we go, first set of green flag pit stops, and it came from one of the top 5 guys, so you know that the door is wide open now. Brandon Gagnon going to try that undercut move from P5. We'll see how he does it. And just to think, the lap times, almost a second and a half, nearly 2 seconds of fall off. So just think, Jeremy, with a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles, you're making up a second and a half a lap compared to some of these guys. So you can just imagine somebody like Brandon Gagnon, maybe Kyle Milliken, Alan Duranko, they might try another undercut to try to get some points here. We'll see. Here comes Hollingsworth, Coy, Hanna. They're all into the pits due to Brandon Gagnon trying that undercut. Jolly, Solarly, Blackner, everybody coming to pit road this time practically.
I was going to say Brandon Gagnon has the hardest job here of not trying to run qualifying laps on everyone with his fresh set of tires, but it looks like over half the field is now going to be coming down pit road. So now you just kind of got to play that patient game. You have the fresh set of tires. You feel like you're a superhero, but you still have to know you have 30 or 40 laps ahead of you. You can't just go out there and just destroy them. But here we go. Rest of everybody else coming down pit road, the 88, the 16, the 42, the 2. I think I saw a couple others on pit road as well. So well over half the field on pit road. Cody McKinney, the 28, hits his stall there. A little bit of conservative entrance to his box. 29 Tommy Schaefer drives in and locks it up. That was a perfect slide. Going to gain at least a 10th or so on the 28 with that pit stop, which races can be made or won or lost rather. As we're now looking at the 00 Tyler Brown continuing to hold on. You said he could run a little bit longer in this race before coming on pit road, and he's electing to do so.
Yeah, but honestly, Jeremy, I mean, even though, yes, he can go a little bit longer, if I were him, I probably would have pitted him before Cody McKinney just because of the sheer fact that McKinney got in front of him. I want to say if McKinney didn't get in front of him, then maybe go a little bit longer. But since McKinney did, if I were Tyler Brown, I would have been trying to undercut the second I saw that number 38 machine come to the pits. I would have been pitting the next lap or so, because now that Cody McKinney's been able to pit, just think now when Tyler Brown comes to the pits, he's going to be a little bit back there, and the only reason he got to the front was because of those 10, 13 lap fresher tires compared to the rest of the field. So, I mean, right now you're looking at what's going to be for the race lead. Brandon Gagnon gained 4 spots actually, just from undercutting it. So he played the strategy just right. The question's going to be when Tyler Brown pits in this race, if it does go green all the way to the end here, once we hit lap 101, it'll be 34 to go. Can Brandon Gagnon hold off Cody McKinney and also Tommy Schaefer, Stephen Hollingsworth, who have had tremendous speed all night long? But that 28 is definitely going to be the one to beat, I'd say.
I like this call by Tyler Brown, I really do, but you can't go too long into this run. I think if you get past lap 100, that's when you have to come down pit road. You can't have a fresh set of tires, only 20 laps to go, and expect to make all that ground lost. But if you give yourself 30, 35 laps, I think that's an okay window to make up that ground. Remember, when he pitted, some people didn't, and that truck was a rocket ship, and that wasn't too many laps separated on those set of tires versus that 00. So he's got 5 laps, 4.5 now before we get to lap 100, which will put us at 35 to go. So I would expect personally to see this 00 come down pit road between now and somewhere lap 100 for his final pit stop. But if there's a yellow right now, everybody is 1 lap down. If you look at that right-hand column there for the whole entire field, all 1 lap down. So if there's a caution, there's going to be, some people getting their lap back, but then there's going to be a lot of the field who's now going to be struggling for that lucky dog position.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the only positive really to Tyler Brown's strategy. What he's hoping for, Jeremy, is a caution so he could put the rest of this field under that 1 lap down marker and make them all get the lucky dog and the wave around. And if that strategy doesn't work out, this is that battle for the lead we just mentioned. And look at this, Jeremy, 4 trucks under a blanket. They know what's on the line. Cody McKinney, Tommy Schaefer, Stephen Hollingsworth, they know that there is a spot presented in front of them to lock into the round of 8. We know how good Cody McKinney's been all season. Tommy Schaefer heating up as of late. Same with Stephen Hollingsworth, but these have been 3 of the most consistent drivers pretty much all season long, battling one of the guys over at Nerd Motorsports. Remember, he got that win earlier this season at Kentucky, but was not eligible for the playoffs due to not obtaining enough starts, to say the least. But he's still up here trying to take a win here for Nerd Motorsports, but these 3 drivers are going to be very hard to beat around him.
Yeah, it's a great battle here, but I don't expect this to last too long. Remember, Brandon pitted first, so he's got at least 1, or I think he has 1 lap older tires, which at Texas, that could play a factor, and you see him starting to slide back a little bit. 29 Tommy Schaefer all but cleared over Brandon this time. This is even on the top side of the track here. Almost makes some contact on quarter entry. Tommy has to slide back up into the 3rd groove momentarily. Coming to turn number 2, able to hold his ground. 25 going to run behind the 29 to give him a little extra boost. And there he goes. 29 is cleared of Brandon Gagnon. Single file as they get to the Tyler Brown, as Tyler is now going to lose that lead of everyone being 1 lap down. Now this is when that 00 has to come down pit road.
You have to. If you're Tyler Brown, you're pitting this time by. You have to. There's no doubt about it. You cannot stay out here too long. I mean, he can make us all look like fools. There could be a yellow, and he can stay out even longer, and then a yellow comes out, and it still plays right into his favor, yeah. And everybody's going to come down and take that fresh set of Goodyear Eagles here, but they're all going to use up everything that they have. So that would be the last set of tires everybody is going to put on here. Again, Tyler Brown still has 1 left. These guys up at the front still have 1 left. We'll see how it plays out. It could play for Tyler Brown, and never mind, change that. He's into the pits this time by, so we'll see how much ground he's going to lose. Will he fall back outside the top 10? We'll have to see right here. 34 laps to go.
Guys, be careful on pit road here. Do not overshoot your stall, because this is all you have right now. Hits the box perfectly. So once he gets those tire chains, we're going to see where he goes into the field. I'm assuming he's going to be somewhere between 10th and 15th place at least, as now our focus turns right to now the race leader, the 28 Cody McKinney. The next lap around, he will be scored your race lead. Tommy Schaefer, the 29, no surprise, right on tail with them. Only one truck link separates these two. Brandon's holding on strong, though, in third. And then fourth place, Stephen Hollingsworth doing a great job here to maintain the nice little four-truck battle for the race lead.
I think if Tommy Schaefer wants to get around Cody McKinney, Jeremy, he's just going to have to save his stuff, but he cannot let Cody McKinney get too far out ahead. He's right all over the back bumper. He's going to have to try something. You see him trying to work around McKinney, figuring out where he wants to go, but there's just not an opportunity right now for him to make a move. Stephen Hollingsworth, he's going to try the arc, the wider arc to kind of cut down. It's not going to work. Gagnon will slide up. Hollingsworth still on the bumper, working to the outside. And look at this, the 29, he got the run. He's going to take it. McKinney smartly will go right back behind him instead of battling him, but it could cost him the win by not battling here with less than 34 laps to go. Tommy Schaefer trying to lock himself into the round 8 here in the playoffs.
Looks like Cody's kind of slipping back a little bit. I don't know if he's saving or just doesn't have the truck right now, but the 38 and the 25, they have caught him too. As they run side by side, that's not good. That's good for the 28, but not for the 25 and 38. They go back to single file here to try to continue that charge a little bit forward. Oh, the 25 gets a little wiggle there, slides up about a half a truck length off corner exit there. Comes on radio and said that was weird. He did not expect that at all from his machine. Now the 38 Brandon all over the tailgate going to turn number 1. Shout out to one of our partners, Dusty Pete's, the official hobby shop of the Nerditudes. It's a hobby shop with a whole lot more. They're based out of New York, and they are your one-stop shop for many things nerdy. So if collecting is the game, Dusty Pete's is the name. From figurines and action figures to collectible cards such as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and sports cards, to die-cast replicas, and they have a bunch of comic books. So if you want to collect comics or anything nerdy in general, make DustyPete's.com your place to go. And you're going to find them at DustyPete's.com. Promo code SUPERNERD. It's going to save you 10% off when you do shop at Dusty Pete's. And jumping back to the action, 08 Sylvain Jolly Heavy loose are 3 and 4. Going to give up that spot easy to Tyler Brown and to Michael Blackner in the 22. And to quickly touch on the Tyler Brown situation, he was exactly a half a track behind the race leader when he came off pit road and got up to speed. So right now, it's actually a little bit more, so the 00 has not been able to maintain that ground since coming off pit road.
Yeah, more than likely, Jeremy, this strategy is not going to play out for Tyler Brown. The best thing that he wants right now is for this race to go green, and he's going to be able to pick off spots left and right. But because of everybody being so spread out here, if we can look at the iRacing iFlag track map, you can just see that everybody is so stretched out. Look at those race leaders right now. They're just heading into turn 1. The pack that Tyler Brown's dealing with, they're right there in 3 and 4. Then he's going to have to deal with 1-2 trucks at the start-finish line. He's not really going to gain too many positions here probably by the end of this race, especially with the tires wearing out and then kind of equalizing with the rest of the field. So we'll see how it works out for Tyler Brown. More than likely going to get a top 10. If all goes well, Alan Duranco slid right up, nearly caught the left rear of Brown, but they were able to gather it back up. But Tyler Brown just hoping this race runs green all the way to the end so he can keep that top 10 momentum going.
I'm actually paying attention to these lap times. I start looking at the sheets right now. The last 3 laps from Tommy Schaefer, 30.8, 30.9, 30.9. Kick it over to the 00 Tyler Brown. The last 3 laps, minus the pass there on Duranco, we have a 30.2, 30.3, 30.4. So it's a half a second per lap that the 00 is gaining. Now at some point in time, that tire will plateau. It's just a matter of when. But right now the advantage, of course, on time is to the 00, but I don't see him recovering a half a track here when we got 25 laps to go in this Texas 200.
Yeah, for sure, to say the least, Jeremy. I mean, the 00, he tried. It just doesn't look like it's going to be enough for him tonight. But remember, I mean, all he needs to do is have good nights. And tonight, it's been a good night for him. And also, too, and I think, Jeremy, in our opinion here, because obviously the FTSR boys, not only do they run an old similar points format and then plus the playoff format once they get into the playoffs, but remember, if they lead a lap, it's bonus points for them. So Tyler Brown, despite him not going to be able to win the race, coming into tonight, he was only 6 points out, from the cutoff line. So leading that amount of laps, it's going to help him, probably, to say the least, more than likely when this race is set and done. So we're probably going to be looking at Tyler Brown having a few points above the cutoff line after tonight. So, I mean, if you're Tyler Brown, if you can finish top 10, that's great. But the fact that he was able to lead laps and gain those bonus points, that's even better.
Yeah, that time around, he's another 0.6 faster than your race leader. So he's only 11 seconds now back of Tommy Schaefer. I'm just kind of do quick math right now. If you do a half a second per lap, that's what, 22 laps to get it done. And right now we have over 22 laps to go. So in theory, that's going to put him pretty close, but that plateau will happen eventually. So we'll just have to keep our eye on that for sure. But 28 and 29 are still neck and neck here. Maybe the 28 makes a pass effort on Tommy Schaefer and slows him up a little bit more, which you said that might have been the race-ending their move for the 28 to allow Tommy Schaefer to get by about 15 laps, 20 laps prior. But he's back to the back bumper, and with no pressure behind, he has all the time in the world to decide when and where to attack.
Yeah, and this is going to be a great battle, to say the least here. It's going to be all about who could save their stuff, manage, and not only defend on Tommy Schaefer's part, but offend on the 28's part. You see Cody McKinney, he seems better on exit, but that 29 is so much better on entry and through the center of the corner, especially through 1 and 2, which is probably the most technical part of this racetrack. You see this 28 all over the back bumper of the 29. Just can't get it done. Just like how Tommy Schaefer got around McKinney, I think McKinney's going to have to do something a little bit different than Schaefer if he wants that lead back out a little bit loose for the center of 1 and 2. And look at the 29, gets a little bit loose on exit. Not close enough for Cody McKinney, though, to try to make a move. He'll try to go to the inside this time, but Schaefer will slam the door in 3 and 4, coming to 19 laps to go.
Doing everything he can at this point. This is a lot of time to play defense. This might wear out Tommy to the point where he makes one mistake and Cody McKinney will easily pounce. So he's going to be mirror driving for probably the next, 20 so minutes in this race before we're over. The 28's going to look to the inside, doesn't have enough room, just kind of dips that nose into some fresh air. Getting to turns 3 and 4, gains a little bit more ground, trying to take maybe some air off the back spoiler, make that mistake. There goes Tommy. He's going to slide up a little bit on turn 4, and that's all the mistake that Cody McKinney is going to need, directly side by side at the line. And there goes the 28 McKinney back to the point here at the Texas 200 with under 20 laps to go.
Tommy Schaefer wanted to fight him, but just couldn't right there on corner exit. 28 able to clear him. Schaefer's got a little bit of a run here down the back straightaway, but it just is not enough here at Texas. It's so hard to make a pass, and Cody McKinney timed it just right, played the waiting game, got past Tommy Schaefer, and now Schaefer did it once, but that was on fresher tires compared to what they're on now. Tommy Schaefer has to play the offensive mode, and McKinney has to play the defensive mode. So if you're Tommy Schaefer, how hard do you push, and how much do you save? And you do not want to let Cody McKinney drive away and let that number 28 machine get smaller and smaller in your front windshield.
Yeah, you can't go on the attack too early. You have to back up your corners, cool off what you can on those tires, and make one chance at it, maybe two late in this going. Side by side for third place, Hollingsworth and the 38 of Brandon Gagnon there, as Brandon's going to actually pass Hollingsworth on the front straightaway. So that's going to move Brandon up in the podium there for third.
Yeah, and Brandon's doing a great job right now trying to defend from Stephen Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth gets a little bit to his bumper. They both get loose off turn number 2. Did a great job saving it, but they're putting on one heck of a show back here for the third spot, while Richie Coy starts to try to make up a little bit of ground back behind them if they get side by side again.
Tyler Brown, the 00, still making moves, but his run is starting to make that plateau curve. Was 0.2 faster lap before and only 0.3 faster this lap at the line. So he's down to 7.6. That is the gap now between that 00 and the race leader. So I expect Tyler Brown to at least be in the top 5, maybe 4th place. But I think at this point, since it's starting to plateau, there's just no chance for him. But still, great run. This is great points regardless. So the strategy call into his favor. He should have just probably pitted a few laps prior. But now he's looking at the 88 of TJ Bartell as we have just over 10 laps to go.
Over 10 laps to go. You know, it's just been such a great race right now. And Tyler Brown, man, I thought, in my opinion, he was going to stay inside the top 10, not really make up a lot of ground due to how spread out the track map was. Let's just take a look at it one more time here, presented by iRacing iFlag. You can just see it's gotten a little bit more condensed in some areas. Remember just a few laps ago when we last looked at this, Jeremy, it was kind of a little bit more spread out. Now it's a little bit more condensed, that being due to tire wear. Some guys long run, some guys short run, some guys kind of both ends of the racetrack. And I think that's really why Tyler Brown's been able to make up as much ground as he has. I mean, he very well could get a top 5. He just needs to pick up 2 seconds, and he'll be able to get to Richie Coy and try to pass him for a top 5. So keep an eye on that 00. He might be able to get to the top 5 here at the end of this race as he looks to the inside of TJ Bartel exiting turn 4. That's going to be for the 6th spot this time by.
At the line, Tyler Brown is going to be 6.9 behind the race leader at this point. It's now under 7 seconds. Just cannot get cleared of the double 8 there of TJ Bartel. And this is hindering his chances of getting himself maybe into a podium spot here. Looking to the inside once more. He's got the position this time. TJ is going to give him all the space there, running in the lighter part of the asphalt. And there we go. Pass completed. Now it's going to move Tyler into 6th place there. At the line, 0.2 gains, so 6.7 now back from the race lead.
Tell you what, Tommy Schaefer is closing back in on Cody McKinney for this race lead. Last time around, he was a 10th faster than Cody McKinney. I think Tommy might have saved a little bit here for Cody McKinney. We'll have to see this time by. 10 laps to go at the line. What's the lap time's going to be? This time, Tommy Schaefer faster by almost 0.2 of a second. That last time around, actually, it was over 2.5 tenths worth of time. He's only back by 0.2 right now, right over the back bumper of Cody McKinney. And Jeremy, this is what we talked about going on the defensive side. Cody McKinney was used to being on the offensive side, was defense at one point, but let the 29 go by. And now Tommy Schaefer is on the opposite end of where Cody McKinney was. Who's going to play which side of this race better here? 9 laps to go at the line. Schaefer is hunting down the 28. He'll look to the outside, try to pull an arc move going into 1 and 2.
It almost looks like you prefer to be in the dirty air here. You follow the truck and your truck gets faster, and maybe the downforce is just too strong and it's overheating the front tires in the corners, right? And so the truck behind the race lead at this point, between these two guys anyways, the cooler front tires is probably playing dividends. And now, since he is faster now, he can just patiently wait his turn, and if he can continue this pace up, can be playing to his strategy of, when can I attack? Right now, he's just giving up too much space. There's that one truck length that he needs to get closed up if he's going to make any move. Oh, Cody McKinney gets a little sideways there off corner exit there. He's going to slide up, and it's going to bring the 29 back to the tailgate. But can Tommy Schaefer do anything with this? As we're getting down here to 7 laps to go, as the 29 gets a little loose on corner exit 4.
About off turn 4 late in those tire runs, Jeremy, before the broadcast, that you can get loose there if you try to make moves off the corner. Sure enough, he could. It looked like Tommy Schaefer was going to get right to the inside of McKinney. Couldn't do it on corner exit, but down the back straightaway, Lane Allen could be in the way. Never mind that. They'll get past him. It's going to hinder Tommy's progression, though, to the bottom. Give Cody McKinney a little bit of leeway through 3 and 4. And oh, Schaefer's up the track, nearly hits the wall. He's able to save it, though, back by 0.2 seconds still. Tommy Schaefer is driving his heart out right now with just 6 laps to go, trying to retake the lead.
That mistake probably cost him the race right now. The tires are screaming for the next lap. He's going to push a little wide there on corner exit. And I don't know if he can get back to Cody McKinney unless Cody McKinney's truck has just fallen off that bad, and it looks like it has. Tommy's already closed that gap up there back to 1 truck length. It's where the 29 has been the most comfortable at this time at the line. We're going to be at 5 laps to go in this Texas 200, and yeah, Cody just kind of fallen off, and now Tommy has a chance once more to make the attack.
Tommy's going to have to arc it right here, Jeremy, but he just can't get back down to the bottom. The truck slides up a little bit. McKinney's going to have that middle exit, but Schaefer's going to have a little bit of a better run down this back straightaway into 3 and 4, coming to 4 laps to go. This 29 has been so fast through the center and off exit. He gets a little bit loose, closes up to the bumper of McKinney. There's still nose to tail. Question is, when will Tommy Schaefer finally say enough is enough and make the move? 4 laps to go. Tyler Brown moving his way up through this field. He's all the way up to the 4th spot now as they head into 1 and 2. Oh, and Schaefer takes the lead.
Tyler Brown lost 1/10, passing 2 trucks on that last lap. But yeah, the 29 gets underneath Cody McKinney on exit turn number 2. And now the 29, Schaefer, once again leads this race. Going to be 3 laps to go at the line. Now Cody can just wait for one more opportunity to make this happen as we jump to the Nerd TV replay to see the pass for the race lead late in the going here. Just makes it look easy on corner exit. All it takes is one mistake here at Texas to give up that preferred lane there on the bottom half of this track. 1 truck link separate these 2 here, coming to the line for 2 laps to go.
With 2 laps to go, now Tommy Schaefer has to play defense again, something he was used to, but now that he was on the offensive side, he's back on a side where he hasn't had a rhythm these last few laps. How's he going to do? McKinney, he's going to close right to the back bumper. The question is going to be is who can have the smoother exit on 2, and the 29 gets a little loose. It presents the outside to the 28. Not going to be enough. Into 3 and 4, coming to the white flag. Schaefer leaves over McKinney by just about half a truck length.
I think Cody actually gave a tiny nudge to the back bumper of Tommy Schaefer there on corner exit. Tommy loose right there, a little bit more through 3 and 4. White flag is out, presented by absolutely nobody here. Cody's going to get his nose in the fresh air, going to maybe look to the top, get a little diamond effect here, and try to get that backstretch run. Here we go to turn 2. Cody gets loose, has to check up that truck, and that is probably going to be all she wrote. Tommy now has that comfortable 3 truck length advantage for the final time in 3 and 4. Cody cannot do anything with it. Tommy Schaefer is going to take home the checker flag here and move himself.
A run by the 29 of Tommy Schaefer to try and really just fight all night long, Jeremy. I mean, consistently. We saw this guy. He was sitting on the pole. He wins the race, but he had to fight probably the fastest truck in this field here tonight, that being Cody McKinney. A hell of a job by this 29 truck, man. And what a battle these 2 put on those last 10 laps or so.
Yeah, 100% there. Sorry about my little pause delay there, but yeah, that's going to move Tommy Schaefer into the round of 8 there as the 28 Cody McKinney is going to give him a little celebratory tap there. Brandon Gagnon's going to do the same thing. Congratulating Tommy on an excellent job there. I love that. Texas, coming to this thing, did not expect this much racing for the race lead, and I'm glad that these 2 guys were able to present such an awesome race here late in the going, and it came down literally to the final few laps in this Texas 200 to get the job done. Congratulations to Tommy Schaefer from the 29, burning it down on the front stretch here, as we're going to go over the unofficial finishing results of tonight's Texas 200. Tommy Schaefer P1, Cody McKinney is going to finish 2nd, Brandon Gagnon in 3rd, Tyler Brown, miracle run back into 4th place, Stephen Hollingsworth 5th, Richie Coy 6th, TJ Bartell 7th, Brody Hanna 8th, Robert Malikian 9th, and Michael Blackner rounds out the 10th place spot.
We got Alan Durango coming home P11. Kyle Milliken started strong, ended kind of poorly, I guess you could say. He'll come home P12. Sylvain Jolly, same goes for him. 13th, James Torrey finishes 14th. Tony Solari, heartbreaker night for him. 15th, Sherwood Williford comes home 16th. Lane Allen 17th. Scott Martin comes home 18th. Justin Deltz 19th. And JP Burns comes home P20.
And we're going to jump it over to full screen commercial break. Try to talk to our top 3 after the fact. We'll be back after just a few messages. And welcome, guys, to the Martin Sports Post Race Show, where we're going to try to talk tonight's top three. It looks like we have two of the three available. First, it looks like there they go. All three are now available. So we're going to bring in the number 38, Brandon Gagnon, driver of that Nerditudes Toyota Tundra. Brandon, do you have a copy?
Got a copy, guys. How are you?
Hey, man, we're doing pretty good up here. You damaged my truck a little bit, but other than that, that thing was looking pretty good on the back half of the race. You kind of ran in the top 10 for the most part there, coming to stage break. And then somehow, I think strategy, or you just made the truck so much better. But I did not expect you to finish P3. How did you get it up there?
Scott Martin gave me some major tips on how to drive this thing tonight, but I noticed early on, especially in practice too, that these guys were really wearing it down quick. So that's why I fell back for a while because I was like, let me see what this does if I save the tire and we have a long green flag run. And I just laid back a little too much and started to get into the top 10, like you said, before the stage break. But then the second run just felt good, and I was still laying back, and it was my first time on all week, so I didn't have a whole lot of time on the TWRS set, but it was fast and really wanted those two guys up front to kind of go back and forth and gain on them. But we'll take P3 for Nerd Twos tonight.
Hey, man, did a good job, though, coming home P3, showing those Nerditude colors very, very well, as always. But, man, you did the short pit. You went from P5 to P1. Was that your game plan the whole time to try to short pit and then see what would happen? And with that being said, obviously, we know how fast they were compared to you. Did you just wear up the stuff too quickly?
I wore off the stuff too quickly, Jason, but I will tell you, that was not a strategy at all. I noticed that after I thought I saved, I noticed Cody still had a 2.1, 2.2, 2.1 lead late in the run. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to make up that time unless I short pit and hope he runs two more laps than I do. And he didn't when I came out the pits, and then he cycled through and I was 7/10 of a second. I started to save a little bit, and then those boys were fast and I had nothing for them. So I was like, I'm going to let them go by, battle it, and see if they wear off a little bit more than me, and they didn't. So big shout out to Tommy and Cody. Those things were fast, but TWRS to be able to jump in today and finish P3, I'm very excited about.
Yeah, great job out there for sure. And yeah, 28-29 class of the field. But hey, minus them two, you were the next fastest truck at the end of the race. So congratulations, P3 man, podium finish for you once more here at FTSR. But final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
Final thoughts are, if you said I damaged the truck and scraped it a little bit, that means you got some work to do this week, Jeremy. And maybe we'll see something new next week. So I'm going to hold you to it since you want to say I scratched it. But huge shout out to Studio Displays, ETOP 21 Sports, Martin Sports 906, of course, Roasted Gems Coffee, Nerditudes, as always. TWRS setups, still bad fast, and iRacing iFlags, and appreciate everybody watching.
I already have updates in the works, man, so stay tuned for that. But congrats once more, and go ahead and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. That was number 38, Brandon Gagnon, driver of the Nerditudes Toyota Tundra. Now it's time to bring in second place, number 28, Toyota Tundra, PRSSetups.com, Machine Cody McKinney. Welcome to the podium, P2. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
You came into this thing with a 2-point advantage and getting P2. This is going to basically, if you have a decent run at Talladega, you're going to be locked into the round of 8. So you and Tommy Schaefer, hell of a battle out there. That was so much fun to watch. I came into Texas kind of like, it's Texas. That's a low-line feeding track. I don't know what to expect here, but you two put on a great performance. What was the difference between you and Tommy there?
It just came down to execution at the end. Missed entry one a couple of times there in the final 10 laps, and just trying to pay attention to him. We were working together, just trying to build as much of a gap as we could so me and him could race it out, and just kind of paid attention to him too much in my rear view and just missed entry one there when he got under me, and that kind of was the deciding factor. But overall, it's great race.
Cody, congratulations, obviously, on finishing P2, man. Even with that gap that you had coming into tonight, P1 in the standings, man, it's got to feel good to come out P2. But, man, you had an issue on pit road. I want to say it was a pit road speeding penalty. You can clarify that for us. But If that didn't happen and you still were to have that lead, do you think you still would have been battling Tommy for that win there late in the going if you didn't have that pit road issue?
It's hard to say. 'Cause we're running the same setup, so it's hard to say whether I would have been able to build a gap. If that speeding penalty didn't pop up, but kind of depends on where he would have came out at. I think he would have came out P3, so me and him could have got cleared and ran 1-2 right after the restart. Then probably both of us would have just pulled away, and may have ended a little differently. I could have pulled away a little bit more, but yeah, that one's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, either way, though, you and him just, like I said, put on a great race for us and everyone watching here this evening. And final thoughts before we let you go.
Appreciate everybody at Premier Racing Setups for the setups and extremely fast, especially on the long run. Tommy over there, so to say, house teammate there, over at PRS, and everybody at McKinney Racing help us do this, FTRS, and you guys for broadcasting the show, and hopefully we can either get the win or get locked in next week.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you there at Talladega next week. Congratulations once more, and go ahead and celebrate the rest, or enjoy the rest of your night, rather.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And that was number 28, Cody McKinney. And now it's time to bring in the race winner, the number 29, Mr. Tommy Schaefer. Welcome to Victory Lane.
What is going on, guys?
Hey, man, you and Cody put on a great performance. Texas for me is iffy. And well, you guys did not disappoint, made it a highlight for the season. And you guys just kept switching positions back and forth. Cody said you're in the same setup. Makes sense. You're running the same sponsors. But he said execution was the difference between you two. Do you feel like that was the same way with you?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that because our drive styles are a little different, and I think the way that I was driving my truck, mine went through it. The way the setup was, after about 18 laps, it really came in, and for about 12 or 14 laps, then it would start easing toward the loose side. Then after that, it would kind of mellow out. And I think the way that I drove mine in that last stint there, it made the difference because Cody was trying to, I don't know if he was trying to drive it in one and just missed it and got up high. And then there was a couple times when he came up out of the corner, I noticed his truck was doing the same thing mine was doing like 5 or 7 laps before that. So honestly, it was a coin toss, and it was a hell of a race. Everybody that, I think I got into Richie one time there and won, and I apologize to him. But man, what a race. Hell of a race.
And Tommy, too, kind of segueing off of what you just said. You say it was a hell of a race, man. Did you expect the lead to be that racy all race long? Because me and Jeremy were kind of shocked, coming in tonight. We were like, oh, it's Texas. But, I told him, I was like, hey, commentated the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifier Series a few months ago here, and it was one hell of a show. And sure enough, you and not only Cody, but you guys up at the front of the field, man, you guys raced your asses off all night long. You guys put on one hell of a show. Is that really what you were expecting coming into tonight, or were you kind of just expecting the usual single file in Texas?
Well, honest answer is I didn't know what to expect. I ran some officials with this set, and they was all, top split races with some of the Road to Pro guys, and it seemed to me that in the races that I qualified up front, that the truck was way better off. And I had a couple that I didn't have a very good qualifying performance, so I put a lot of emphasis on qualifying tonight. And the dirty air is just a killer. It kills that right front, and it's hard to come back from that. If you're really racing somebody and you're leaning on that right front, well, 5-10 laps later, hell, you can't turn. So there they drive right back by you. So I didn't really know what to expect, but once I put it on the pole, then I was hoping that I was going to have a good clean run, and everybody was going to race pretty respectful, and everybody did. It's the racing has come so far this season, and really want to thank Brody and Richie and Steven and Brandon, all of those guys over at FTSR for cracking down on stuff that and I've got penalties myself, but it makes us a better driver, and it makes for a better product, in my opinion. Something good for you guys to broadcast.
Yeah, 100% there. And I was debating on asking this question, but since you mentioned dirty air was a killer to you, it almost looks like I have to beg to differ because you and Cody in that last stint there, Cody followed you pretty good for a while, and then he passed you, and I thought, okay, maybe your truck has fallen off, and then it took like 2 laps, and all of a sudden you're back to the back bumper of the 28 of Cody McKinney, and then you hung out there for a little bit, and it just seemed like the truck that was behind had a little bit more turn-in essentially there. I don't know what the case was. Is that something you felt there when you were riding Cody at the end?
One thing I can say about that is when Cody was behind me, I was loose as shit. And then when I was behind him, the whole time he was talking about how loose he was. So, packing the air, which we really wasn't trying to pack air on each other. It was just the way it was happening. And, trying to either stay half a truck low or half a truck high in the corner just to be able to keep some of that air on the nose. But, whenever, I guess at the beginning of the race, I fell back to like 5th or 6th, and I could really notice it those first 15, 20 laps of the race. Whenever I was kind of back behind everybody, I was like, man, I'm going to have to start lifting, sooner going into one, or I'm going to completely burn this thing up. And then it wasn't probably 8 laps after that, we got by Brody and Richie, and then had a pretty decent gap, and we could be talking about a totally different race had that caution not came out, and Brody and Richie lost almost a second gap. Granted, we were trying to save a little bit for the later run because we were hoping that they were going to fall off like they did in the first run, but the caution, I think that played in our favor. So, Cody's, mine, and Tyler's, because Tyler was about 2 laps from being up here too. So, it was a great run for Schaefer Racing and McKinney Racing alike. Kind of sister teams and everything, and I'm just glad to be moving on.
Yeah, man, you're definitely locked into the round of 8. So congrats on that. You don't have to worry about the wild card Talladega anymore with that W
right.
underneath the belt. So yeah, congrats once more. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Well, I appreciate you guys doing the broadcast, and I want to thank everybody over at PRS. They built great setups this week. Andrew does a great job. I want to thank Roasted Jim's Coffee, Schaefer's Auto Body, my dad and my papa down there. Like I say every time, they support me through whatever, and I really appreciate it. Everybody at the league, everybody that races in the league, because without anybody to race, we wouldn't have a damn league. So it's looking up. We was hot, then we kind of dropped off a little bit there in Milwaukee, and we've kind of started to come back up, and I'm just hoping, Talladega's not a killer for us, and maybe we can, keep something going there at Iowa on into the round of 8.
Well, it seems like your camp is back in full swing just at the right time here in the playoffs, man. So congrats once more, though, and we'll catch you next week.
Hey, that sounds great. I hope to be up here. You guys have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was number 29, Tommy Schaefer, driver of the PRSSetup.com Chevrolet Silverado. And Jason, you did not lie to us. You said it was a pretty good race when you called it a few months back. I'm always kind of iffy about Texas, but here we are with an outstanding race there for the race win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, Tommy Schaefer, he said it, man. I mean, not only was, he loose as hell, but man, he said it himself, yeah, he was loose, but man, just like he said, he was fast as shit, man. Both him and Cody McKinney, they were so fast tonight. And the fact that they both had those PRS setups underneath them here tonight, that really definitely showed. Unfortunately, they got the better end of the TWRS guys. That being Richie Coy, Brandon Gagnon, they were fast all night long too, but they just couldn't get there. I think that Tommy and Cody were both definitely the class of the field, no doubt about it. And even Tyler was right there at the end, man. I mean, give him 5, maybe 10 laps if needed. I'm telling you right now, Tyler Brown was going to get there. And I did not think he was even going to reach the top 10 or that top 10, but I didn't even think he was going to reach the top 5. Hell, I didn't even think he was going to get the top 3, but he damn well almost did it. It was a great race, and Texas has definitely been a sleeper, especially with these trucks. I love when the trucks go to Texas in real life just because of how aerodynamic they are, dependent wise. And they show the same thing here on iRacing, compared to the A car or the B car. The C truck just it handles a lot better. I think it races a lot better here than the other two NASCAR chassis that we run. But I mean, what a fun race tonight too, and Talladega is going to be one to definitely watch next week, and the same goes for Iowa in a couple weeks. Those are going to be fun races. But man, what a dominant performance by those guys here tonight, and good job to Tommy Schaefer. And hey, last thing, I'm telling you right now, Tommy Schaefer is a sleeper for this championship. We keep talking about Cody McKinney and Richie Coy all season long. Tommy Schaefer could have something to say here.
Oh, 100%. I truly believe he's going to be there. He said he's on the uppity up, and I couldn't agree more. And at the right time too. It almost makes me kind of curious because he said dirty air was bad, but the trucks were loose up front. I guess there was too much downforce on the nose, kicking the rear ends out, too light of weight. But when you get behind someone, it tightens you up, and that looseness goes away, and all of a sudden your truck's much faster. So, in that case, dirty air played to benefit both these guys, and Tommy Schaefer played it the best way, bringing it on P1. Appreciate you, Dustin. I don't know if your camera's live, but great production work as always, each and every time. And also want to shout out our sponsors one last time as well before we kick this thing over. First and foremost, thank you to League FTSR, FTSR.net. If you are interested in joining a league, whether you broadcast it or not, they have 4 series a week. So visit them at FTSR.net. Mach 1 Performance, the Monday Cup Series sponsor. It's a race fabrication shop that's produced champions and winners of all sorts of racing divisions. Find them at Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. Sim Racing Points. It's your league points management system that allows you to completely track your league stats and more with one simple upload. Find them at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See their whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag. Get your notifications just a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving your focus from the racing action, and you'll find them at iRacingIFlag.com. Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from the race car with their haptic response system from thebuttkicker.com. Check out their product for your sim rig. Team Watson Racing Setups. You heard Brandon already giving them a boast about how well their setups are running. Get them P30 tonight. They're some of the best setups on the sim platform, and you'll find them at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles, a hobby shop with a whole lot more. If collecting is your game, Dusty Pete's is the name. And find them at dustypete's.com. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with coffee from roastedgems.com. And that is it for us here from the Nerd TV crew. We're going to be back on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. Till then, make sure as always, get your nerd on.